Thank you for joining us today. We are the United Federation of Nerds. Today we have with us Ace, Lord, wow, Lord Kahuna, Mr. X, as well as Noob Noob. Today we will be discussing Discovery Season 4, Episode 8. And one of the first things that came up to me that really struck out, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, were basically I wanted to say America's Most Wanted, but it's the Federation's Most Wanted. You've got a wanted thing for Book, and you've got a wanted thing for Tarka. I just loved these things. I don't recall ever seeing anything like this in Star Trek before, so it was just a neat little wanted poster.
Well, it's because you could loosely call this Star Trek. That's why.
now now it is much better than the previous seasons. We're going to try to forget seasons 1 and 2 and focus on going forward. But after that, we get a really good. We haven't really talked or seen much of Vance this season. It was nice to see Vance back in to the episode. I liked when he was at the beginning of the episode how pissed off he was, which is where this image is from. When he's saying how did they get away? Where did they go? We need to find them now. And then he goes into the meeting with President Relic as well as Burnham, and then Burnham is ordered to basically not go after Book, and instead she needs to work on the diplomacy side of things.
Vaguely ordered to work on the diplomacy side of things.
Yes, which does bring me to the next point when Vance goes and sees her privately in her quarters. They just he says, within the parameters of your mission, go, and also fine. You're the queen of loopholes. Go and take care of this. You do what you got to do, but don't break the orders.
And everybody, I mean, that was already expected. The entire conversation was unneeded. Like, she was going to do that anyways, in my opinion.
But what was nice is, as opposed to last season, this season Vance basically said, "I got your back this time.
Yeah.
If
that was nice.
if shit hits the fan, it's gonna come back on me because I gave you the order." That's what was nice about it. Yes, she was gonna go do it anyways, but at least this time she had somebody who had her back instead of basically relying on Saru to have her back all the time. So after that, one thing that I thought was really weird when they went to did they call it a karma barge?
Yes.
The casino thing? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the whole when they had to go basically fly into the big giant snake thing. Yeah, I thought that was very reminiscent of when they fly into when you fly into Wakanda from the MCU. That's the first thing that struck out to me. But when they get to the karma barge, they meet this guy, Haas. Didn't have a chance to look up who the actor was that plays him, but I thought he did a pretty good job. I actually, at first, I thought I was going to hate this character, but I ended up liking him by the end of the episode. Actually, way closer than that.
Oh, I agree. Sorry to interrupt. It's just this character. The only thing I thought I was kind of bothered by this character because one of the big things for Star Trek to me has always been their costume design and prosthetics and everything like that. And this guy's hard plastic, all head to toe, that you can see. You know what I mean? It's even shiny hard plastic in that picture that we're seeing.
And my forehead's shiny right now.
I don't know. It's just it looks nice, but I think they went for like easier and not. I don't know what.
They didn't pay attention to the details.
Yeah, exactly. And they used to push the envelope when it came to prosthetics and stuff like that, and now they're just kind of going with the easy. Like he looks like almost looks like they reskinned the Cleon, the same hard shell plastic that they were putting on them.
See, I was thinking Ferengi, like without the ears.
Yeah, no, I mean, but the Ferengis actually look better. They look fluid. I don't know, like real. This guy looks like plastic. That's
Yeah.
and again, he's an alien, so maybe that's just how they look. But it seems to be a theme.
I'm sorry, Mr. X. I spoke over you. What did you say?
I just said the old shows didn't have to deal with high definition. Also,
that's very true.
And we'll actually kind of get to that in a minute too, because right after we get introduced to Haas, Book and Tarka talk to him, and they talk about needing that special element, isolidium or something like that. But one thing that I thought was weird was when Burnham arrived. When Book arrived, he jumped out of warp. It didn't look like he spore jumped. It looked like he came out of warp in orbit of the planet and then went down to the planet. When Michael went to the planet, it straight up looked like the literal frame before this picture is then still in warp. To me, it looked like she jumped out of warp inside the atmosphere of the planet. I have never seen that in Star Trek before, and my understanding is from almost every Star Trek except for First Contact, you cannot enter warp, or you're not supposed to enter warp in a solar system. Even in the episode of Deep Space Nine, where the changeling Bashir was gonna put some kind of explosive in the sun and cause a supernova and destroy the Klingon, Romulan, and Federation fleets. Kira tells Dax we need the warp to get to him, and Dax says you can't warp inside a solar system, and then Kira counters that with, if we don't go to warp, there won't be a solar system left.
Okay. That's a big one that's always been broken. I think it's you can't warp in an atmosphere, is what it comes down to.
This is the atmosphere, isn't it?
They warped into an atmosphere, not out of one, though.
Let's say Han Solo did it.
Precision thing when it comes down to that. It's super.
Hey, we're going to talk about Star Wars later. Shut up.
It's super dangerous, but they warped into an atmosphere, not out of it. That's not right now.
I think there was an episode of Enterprise where they actually had to deal with this, where the Enterprise or a shuttle of the Enterprise is being blamed for initiating warp in an atmosphere and like killing
none of their shuttles had warp capabilities though, because warp drives back then were in Enterprise, the TV show from 2001.
Right.
Sorry, I misunderstood him. I thought he said Voyager, to be honest.
No, I think it was Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah, because they didn't have warp drives on their shuttle. So the warp drives at that time were way too big. They were
maybe it was the Enterprise itself. I'm trying to find the episode.
Well, there's plenty of examples of them warping out within a solar system. Even if you go to the Voyage Home, that's how they time traveled, by warping into the sun. Like, you know what I mean, when they flipped around it and like
when it did the slingshot.
Again, another one of those special circumstances, like I made mention with Kira and Dax. If you didn't do it, you were everyone was gonna die. If they were gonna time travel, that's the only way to do it. At that point,
the Picard maneuver too, though, that was used within a solar system both times.
That's true. The Picard maneuver was
warp. They've done warp within a solar system. Even within Sol itself, they have, between Jupiter and all of those. I think it's just when they're too close to a gravity well or within an atmosphere that it's an issue, because they can cause disruptions by just moving that much matter that fast.
If that's the case, look at not Best of Both Worlds, the Borg 2-part episode with Locutus. What's the name of that episode? Best of Both Worlds?
I'm not going to remember the names.
I don't know. So, whatever, the Locutus episode. The Borg cube is going to Earth. They say they're like 45 minutes ahead of them. Enterprise D is at like Jupiter, but they don't go to warp to get to Earth to stop the Borg. If they know how to do the warp jumps in the solar system, you would think that they'd do it.
That's a giant plot hole, because they've done it and then they haven't. Maybe there's a standing order. You can't do it within the Sol system. They definitely do it in other people's systems.
Well, and I'm sorry, if you're gonna break the rule, to save the people of Earth, I would break the rule to save the people of Earth and go into warp.
Yeah, it's the Borg. Yeah,
but
100%.
But that was just I didn't recall anyone ever warping into an atmosphere before. I'd seen them do the calculation.
The Ford drive, though, didn't they?
No, the Discovery shuttle does not have the spore drive.
Okay. I thought they put that experimental one, a new one, that they came out of nowhere.
That's a book ship.
Thank you. Okay.
So there's a lot of confusion just in basically the entire universe over warp drive capabilities inside the solar system, especially inside planets' atmospheres. But
well, they go back and forth in consistency with warp drive in general. Like, they're not supposed to go over warp 5, but then they fixed it in Voyager. Then they can't go over 10, but they've done that multiple times with different ways. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think at one point they were trying to do, like, you could in one of the episodes, Enterprise D with the third nacelle can go warp 13 or something like that. And then shortly after that, they made warp 10 the threshold, where the episode threshold, you turn into a salamander if you hit the warp 10.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think of Oa? Oa shot. I'm just gonna say Oa. What did you guys think of her this episode? I thought they actually gave her a lot of character building this week.
Yeah, that was better, considering I barely recognized her from any other episodes recently.
Yeah.
I totally did not. I was not thinking she was hustling them. I bought into the fact that she was losing. I thought she was trying her hardest those first 2 rounds. It wasn't until she bent down like this that I turned to my wife and said, she's hustling them, and she's going to kick his ass and knock him down in 5 seconds.
Well, there's no way Burnham would have put her in the situation if it wasn't a hustle in the first place. Burnham would have put herself in the situation if it wasn't. That's was my opinion. So I thought it was a hustle from the beginning. I was like, I don't know if I even said it to Katie. I was like, they're going to hustle him. And then she ended up beating the shit out of him. I'd hoped she'd do it in round 1, but I got the idea to get those bets up, so that makes sense.
Yeah, because it went 2 to 1, and then it went 10 to 1, and then it went 45 to 1, and then the girl comes.
They should have known that it was a hustle, but
yeah, and it's when she got down like this that I just knew that at that point it was the hustle, and I just love the fact that she just basically creamed the guy. She does. It looks like she's doing a crotch shot here, but she's actually hitting him right in his femur.
Balls.
Like I said, it looks like a crotch shot, but it's actually his femur, because in the next shot you see him grabbing his leg or something. But I thought that was pretty good. I think I skipped over one quick talking point that I had. What was your? It was a very short scene. They weren't in it for very long. But I actually enjoyed seeing Hugh Culber lose it, especially on the poor little droid.
Yeah, definitely. You don't see a lot of mental health issues within Star Trek at all, to be honest. Like, I mean, we had what was her name on The Next Generation? Who was a counselor, but the shit she counseled was always such, like, I don't know, mitten stuff is the only thing I can think of.
And one thing I read online too is that Deanna Troi never dealt with anything that she felt guilty about. This here, he is totally blaming himself for the fact that Book took off, and he thinks that he should have seen it, as well as Michael thinks that she should have seen it too. But I liked this whole scene. Stamets coming in, and taking care of the situation and making them feel better. Then they go for their happy little walk in the flowers. What did you guys think about the Changeling?
Did you recognize who he changed into?
What?
I mean, granted, I watched it on a cell phone, but did you recognize who he changed into?
The first creature?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that right here. The Tribble. I will say I didn't like the effects. It doesn't look like the Changeling ooze Odo. It looks almost like the snap from MCU where they get dusted. It just turns into dust and then the dust turns into the Tribble. I
Now
wasn't a big fan of that.
This might have been a bad observation on my part, so it's more of a question. But didn't Odo have to keep his mass too? Like that got much smaller then. And I remember Odo never really he could go down to a liquid, but he was still always a decent amount of liquid. Not
no,
he's been a rat.
Yeah, there's an episode where Quark goes to security to complain because at first Odo's tromping around in his room as a rhinoceros or something like that, and then when Quark complained about it, Odo looks at him and says, "Well, I turned into some kind of rat after that," and he says, "Yes," and then I heard the tiny little feet scurrying all over the place.
Yeah, but I mean, in Quark's defense, he could probably hear it on the other side of the station too.
Yeah. But that's where we know for sure that he got down to the small thing. Yeah, and when they were on Earth, he was a seagull flying around San Francisco.
See, I remember that. Okay, thank you. I just remembered him turning into furniture mostly that was huge.
Okay. What I enjoyed most about the Changeling, other than the fact that basically they confirmed that the Dominion is still around, or the Changelings are still around. I like that when it looks like a female, so I'm going to call her a she. When she turned into the changeling being, they still kept the smooth features, and they didn't go for a human or a Bajoran look. It still had the rounded features. I liked that extra authenticity from Deep Space Nine, even though that they left the orange goo turned into dust. I don't know. Well, that's me personally.
It's been 1,000 years since Deep Space Nine, though, right?
It's been about 850.
So I mean, they've evolved a little, then maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. When I think of a changeling changing, I picture that iridescent orange pinkish glow.
Yeah,
but I was very glad that they were the changelings from Deep Space Nine and not the shapeshifter from the Undiscovered Country that's in the jail with Kirk. I was glad that they stuck with Odo's race. Although I will be 100% honest, and my wife can confirm this. I was hoping it was going to be Odo or somebody who was because Renee Auberjonois. Can you correct me on the pronunciation, wife?
Auberjonois.
Hey, I didn't do too bad. Unfortunately, he died a couple years ago, but somebody could have.
What? He's raging over there.
What?
The door.
He's not muted.
Yeah.
No, Kahuna, of course not.
Kahuna, mute yourself. I don't even know if he can hear us. But he changed. I was hoping that somebody it was going to come up and be Odo. I don't know why Odo would be cheating, but I was hoping for Odo. But I was also hoping for Dax last season too. So, now I wanted to bring up: did anyone catch this Easter egg? The divorce scanner.
No.
I remember to mention it, but I didn't catch the name.
The divorce scanner, and then he specifically says it couldn't catch a Betazoid all by himself, blah, blah, blah. Do you guys remember the episode of Voyager where they're smuggling the telepaths?
Yeah.
Those were divorced soldiers, and that's the scanner. So that I'm a big fan of Voyager. Any Easter egg that you're going to give me towards Voyager, I'm going to love. I've even got my Lower Decks Tom Paris played in the other room. So now I want to get to the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest Easter egg of the entire episode. If this isn't an Easter egg to the Next Generation, I don't know what is. I just lost 3/5 of my people.
So no, my kids just don't know how not to be rude.
Yeah, that's cool. I understand that. They're young.
Yeah, well, so what were you saying though? Because I didn't hear him. I see you got pictures of the stupid poker game up though.
I was saying that See, I didn't think it was a stupid poker game. I enjoyed it. I thought it was the biggest Easter egg to Next Generation because how many episodes?
Yeah, I thought that was cool, but it's the idea of the poker game was dumb. They paid, they had a deal. Like, I don't know. I know there's no honor amongst thieves, but they did have a deal. Straight up had a deal. Both of them did, but if I remember correctly, Burnham delivered first, and he had Burnham's money, so she had already paid.
You are correct. I would agree with that. They did not catch the changeling until after 001, and then all of a sudden he brings in 2 other people to play too. I don't even know where they came from, and they're suddenly from the Orion Syndicate, who we haven't heard about this season yet.
And they also could have purchased this isolinium from anybody. They didn't have to come. Like, this guy just called him and was like, "Hey, I've got some. You want it?" Like, they could have, like, they weren't looking for it. It's just a commodity that they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe it's a decent price."
I think Haas wanted to drive up the price when he invited the other 2.
He definitely is trying to. But I just mean the introduction of the other 2. Like, they could have bought it from anybody. They could have went to those other 4 places that they were talking about.
Those were 4 legit places, though, and probably wouldn't work with I said Orion Syndicate earlier. I actually meant Emerald Chain.
Yeah, but legit in this universe is working with the Emerald Chain.
Not anymore. We don't know what the time jump was between season 3 and season 4, but for all intents and purposes, the Emerald Chain has been gotten rid of, and everyone is wanting to be now legit with the Federation, unless you're one of these outlier places like this guy. And I enjoyed the poker. I don't have any more pictures for this episode. So, was there anything else that you guys saw that you wanted to mention?
This is the first picture I see.
Oh, it was 5 parsecs, right? You told me that
5 light years.
5
light years.
He got me stuck on the parsecs earlier. 5 light years is 25 trillion miles?
Okay, if you say so.
No, like I looked up. I actually meant to tell you to try and find a size comparison so you could put it up, just like so you could see. The stream ended. We lost them.
Scott disabled his camera.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it looks like it's all gone.
I can't tell if Lex is frozen or not.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
She's trying to call me.
Who was?
Ace was trying to call me a second ago.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
It's trying to call me on my iPad. That's weird. But we were talking about the 5 light years. The 5 light years. The 5 light years. That is really big. But then that reminds me, we find the people, the species 10C, who it looks like they've basically encompassed their entire solar system in that same kind of bubble thing that's impenetrable, which is why that the DMA is a mining machine for the Boramites.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird. They want them to seem like they are impossible to take on, because if this is their mining equipment that can destroy planets, what are their weapons capable of doing? Well, I think they could have gone. I think they could have.
So.
Yeah, it's being used as a weapon.
Make a grilled cheese.
There you
go. But was Mr. X? Did you have anything about the episode?
Well, I'm trying to go back and watch it, but I could swear when the changeling walked behind the pillar that the human form they changed into was Lorca.
I doubt.
It's an old white dude.
It just looked like some random white guy to me.
Yeah,
I'm not even 100% sure it was human.
My watched it on a little cell phone, so
yeah, it definitely looked human, but it wasn't anybody I recognized, so I don't think it was Lorca.
Yeah,
not that I.
we're not getting any Lorca cameos this season. I doubt. I think we've only got 2 or 3 more episodes before Picard starts. So we'll be doing a recap of Picard season 1. So look forward to that soon. Ace, was there anything you wanted to say about it? Okay. Well, with that being said, Lord Kahuna, I know you're still you're learning some stuff from us on what's going on in Discovery. Was there anything you wanted to add at this point?
The only thing is that me and my fiance had no clue that we had. Well, she knew we had Paramount Plus, but she didn't know that we had, because she's from the TOS era. She loves the TOS. And then I mentioned TNG,
which stands for those old scientists.
Yeah, and she likes The Next Generation too. Like, she's seen them. I didn't know, but she grew up watching Kirk and Leonard Nimoy and all that. So, or Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. But then I showed her the preview for Discovery. She wants to get into that. I showed her the preview for Picard, and she's like, "What? How come I didn't know about this?" I was like, "Because these are strictly on Paramount Plus. You don't see them on TV. You won't see them on TV."
How did you show her the previews for any good Star Trek though?
Hey! Picard was good, and Lower Decks was great.
Picard was okay, but Lower Decks is phenomenal.
Well, season 2 is going to dictate if it's going to be better or not. So
that's true.
I mean, Q is going to be in it apparently. So
and so is Guinan.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whoopi Goldberg. That's why she's been gone for a minute from The View.
Yeah, that's why. We'll stick with that. On that note, we're gonna go ahead and kill this discussion. You guys have yourselves a good evening. Oh, and please like and subscribe. Comment down below. Tell us how wrong we are on all of our opinions. Yeah, do the thumbs up. Tell us how wrong we are. Please do. Please share our video. Right now we have like 3 subscribers, so we need more people. Please like us.